Right, so a lot of conversations about Garp and the Marines and can you be a good person in a corrupt system and where Garp falls in the One Piece world, especially with morality. Is he really a hero of the Marines or is he an oppressor of the people? And it's complicated, and that's what makes him an interesting character, because he is a good person and he is working for a corrupt organization, and the excuses and blind eyes that he turns to said organization, believing that this is the best option, the lesser of the two evils, involves turning a blind eye on slavery, corruption, murder, and a zillion other things. So, to me, no, not morally right, but interesting, complex character. Justifications for Garp's actions mainly center around, from what I've seen in my limited experience, with people saying that, well, he hates the celestial dragons and doesn't want anything to do with them. He criticizes them. He does his own thing. And because of that, he's a vice admiral. He refused to take an admiral position because he doesn't want to be at their beck and call, completely at their mercy. Which is fair, but he's still a vice admiral and still in the Marines, which are clearly hurting a lot of people. He has seen with his own eyes the slavery of the fishmen at the Reverie. He's witnessed the events of God Valley. He knows about hunting games. There's no way he doesn't know about the truth of O'Hara. We've seen celestial dragons walking down the street point to a woman saying, "You're hot, become my new wife. Oh, you're engaged? Shoot the fiancé. Come on," drags her away. Like, he's had to turn a blind eye to numerous things. And then we get the explanation, well, he's in it for the common people. He's here because it's the lesser of two evils. This is the best way to protect the innocent people, because the majority of the Marines are good, and they just want to help others from bad pirates. Okay, so he wants to protect people, but also he wants to protect the rank and file. He's strong, he's using his protection and strength to protect innocent Marines, everyday people. Okay, MarineFord, when Magma Bastard is threatening the soldiers who don't want to fight anymore because the war is over, or we've seen Marines have the order, like, if you don't follow these orders from the Celestial Dragons, we're going to shoot you. We will execute your entire squad for one of you disobeying. And I assume this has been a common practice for as many years as Garp has been a Marine, so that's still on the go. He's not doing anything about that to protect the rank and file. He's just one person. He is a symbol. He is an ideological, perfect version of a Marine. Truly good, truly caring, wanting to do good, and you can definitely say that he wants to inspire others to follow after him. We've seen his influence on Kobe, on Kuzan, on the people in Sword. Everything about Garps wants those who are good in the Marines to follow his path and restructure them from within. He believes in the organization. These are his family. These are his people. And I believe that he was at his most complex and perfect in development during MarineFord. This is when I loved Garp the most. I hated him, don't get me wrong. He went on my hit list. But I loved his character. The idea of having to choose between your chosen family and your actual family. He gave Ace the opportunity for freedom, to make his own choices. He wanted him to be a Marine. He wanted him close and safe and following the path that he wanted him to follow. But Ace chose his own path. Garp let him have that freedom. And now, facing the consequences of his actions and choices, hunted down by the Marines, about to be executed, he struggles. He's in pain. He wants to save his grandson, but he doesn't know how to turn against the people that he has served, his chosen family. And in the end, does choose helping Ace by simply doing nothing and allowing Luffy to get that punch and rescue Ace. We see his anger at Ace's death, willing to kill Magma Bastard if he was able to get back up. And no, yeah, he would have killed him. So that was when Garp was really at his most complex. I'll still hate him for just being like, you got my grandson, I'm taking you all out, family over everything. But that's not who Garp is. He, at his soul, is a Marine who wants to help the most people and believes the organization is how he can do that. And now I have an issue, because in the past, his goal definitely wasn't inspire the next generation. We see him being with Kuzan being like, an apprentice? No, go with the academy trainer. Stop trampling on my freedoms. I'm going to do what I want. I'm not taking on an apprentice. He wasn't looking to be an inspiration. Was this after the events of God Valley? It had to have been, because his son was a revolutionary at that end. So after witnessing the events of God Valley, maybe he isolated in on himself and then later wanted to be an inspiration after taking on his first apprentice. Let's go with that. And I was like, we're spent so much time seeing the parallels between Garp and Luffy. Him as a child riding a tiger with a treasure chest, all scraped up, and it's just like his personality, his humor, his love of food, he can fall asleep. Like, we're seeing so many similarities to Luffy. This could have been the path Luffy went down if he hadn't met Shanks, or if his history was different growing up. Like, Garp grew up during the Rocks era, coming up the ranks of the Marines, seeing that pirates are evil. Government propaganda in terms of Rocks, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what he did. But why would, like, we know Garp wouldn't be any different than Dragon or Luffy. We see them helping people, even if Luffy claims he's not a hero, and, like, he's a hero who would share the meat, and he wants it all for himself. He wants people to have what they need, to be happy, for their freedom to not be infringed upon, for them to have the basic needs met, including food, and he would never leave them alone. He could inspire people to stand up for them, but he will stand and protect them. And growing up in a time of piracy, when we know the world government isn't the only evil, the Marines are the correct choice on paper, especially with propaganda, for Garp to join them, because that is how you help people. To give up what he could view as freedom, to sail the seas, to do whatever he wants. Why would he want to join the rank and file? He has the D in his name. He should be causing chaos and stir and changing the world. But instead he chooses the path, not necessarily of servitude, but to protect others, to care for people. He wants to do good in this world. So yes, he goes up the ranks. He fights the Rocks pirates, who are and other pirates that we know are plundering just as badly as many Marines do. And he thinks this is the way that he helps the world. Again, and we spend so much time on the balance of power. It's so important to know, like, the Marines keep the Yonkos in check, and the warlords and other individual sections of it. There's such balance of power that if one were to fall, the others could take over. We see that in MarineFord. Like, if the Marines had lost that day, that would have been like a chip in the armor. Oh, the Marines are vulnerable. Pirates invade. Cities would be crushed. Islands destroyed. People were going into chaos and fear at the idea of the Marines losing, for the pirates to be able to be unimpeded and just take over. Like, the common citizens were cheering for the Marines to win, even though we know that Whitebeard pirates are good, that Ace is good. For the Marines to lose that day would have meant chaos in the balance of power. We even seen that play out with Impel Down with Luffy rescuing Jinbei and everybody trying to get to Ace, everything that happened. That resulted in an opportunity as well for the Blackbeard pirates to escape with those other prisoners, and that leading to Blackbeard gaining power, more chaos in the world. Don't get me wrong, saving Jinbei was good, but we also let out Buggy, who, we love Buggy, no Buggy slander here, but, like, he's putting bounties on Marines, which, again, I'm not cheering for the Marines or anything, especially because T-Bone! How dare you, Buggy! He's fine, I'm sure I refuse to believe he's not fine, but that costs the world. That is a safety net in place that protects people being taken away. So I can understand Garp being just paralyzed and constrained on the fact that what is the right choice here? If he was to act for his own self-interest, for his own family, that puts the entire world in jeopardy as the balance of power is shifted out of control. To throw away however many decades of service to the Marines and the convictions that he has in what is justice, what is right, to throw it all away in that moment would have been to embrace chaos and the unknown, and that is terrifying. We spent so much time focusing on the balance of power that it's clear that we can't just topple the world government and the Marines entirely. An organization, a system, a plan needs to be in place to immediately take its spot, or else we're into chaos. And the Revolutionary Army theoretically has a plan to do this in a way that will be safe for the rest of the world. But it's still an unknown, it's still scary. We don't know how the chips will fall, whether or not this new dawn will be a peaceful one, or one of terror and destruction. And you can see Garp's fear of that, but at the same time, the more we learn, the more that we see how his inactions had resulted in other things happening, for better or worse. MarineFord, you understand the position he's in. In the current part of the manga, it just feels like he has been at the center of so many atrocities. Genocides, slavery, everything horrible under the sun. Like, where is your line? When do you decide I'm no longer in the lesser of two evils? That this is the greater of the two evils? And I don't know if Oda's trying to make us realize that don't put too much faith in your heroes. They're not perfect. They're doing their best, but definitely don't idolize him. I don't know if we're going with he has been stubborn and resistant to change, or that he's just stuck in a rock and a hard place and there are no good options going forward, and he's choosing the path of safety for the most, and that means sacrificing others, or if he's just ignoring that sacrifice. When it comes to One Piece, a moral code at your center is definitely an important part of the story. Having your own goal and dreams and following it faithfully. So he has his own moral code of justice. He believes the Marines is how he achieves that justice. And you see the pain and contradiction because he hates elements of the Marines and what they're doing, but he loves the organization and believes that in an ideal world, they are the best. He loves his family, and you see the pain on his face when he's letting Luffy's adopted mother beat the shit out of him for allowing Ace to die and saying, you don't deserve this pain. The only one who deserves to feel this pain is Luffy because he lost everything that day. We see him wanting to help the people, and then he sees them being hunted like rabbits for the world government Celestial Dragon's amusement. Does he believe he can change it from the inside? Take the corrupt parts out? Probably. I lean more towards Dragon, who took one look at this corrupt organization and said, fuck this, I'm burning it all down, gets out, saves as many people as he can, and immediately goes and tries to get people on his side to have a revolution and overthrow the world government. Garp, if he were to have left, though, would that mean that without that beacon of hope, would that only leave like elements like Magma Bastard? Would the Marines become more corrupt with time? We don't know. Again, Garp is just choosing what he feels as the lesser of two evils and the best choice going forward. Maybe being in a position of power to help those that he can, but that's still in a very corrupt system. Does it tie into, like, different generations that One Piece is focusing on? The old generation and the new, how they change, the choices they make? Is it a failure of the old generation and then the new generation making the change that they would have wanted to see in the past? Maybe. I think the best way for me to look at it would be to compare him to a kind-hearted individual on the wrong side of a war. So enter Uncle Iroh, one of the best written, most wonderful fantasy characters in all of history. Like, we love Uncle Iroh. He is perfect. He is flawed. He is complicated. He is deep. He is wonderful. He is perfect. And you have him as a Fire Nation general doing bad things, oppressing the people. No arguments here. The Fire Nation are the bad guys and are doing horrible things. And we see that there are good people within the Fire Nation and within its armies. We see the propaganda. We see how they're lied to. We see how they're trained up. We see how they manipulate their own soldiers. And we learn that Uncle Iroh was a general, was attacking a city, about to conquer it. When he has a revelation, he's now disillusioned with the Fire Nation, and his perspective and priorities change. It shifts to his nephew, who is lost on his path, and he is guiding him this way, but he's never turned around and attacked the Fire Nation immediately, not throughout the majority of the series. I'm not going spoilers for the end. But he still sailed on a Fire Nation ship, but he never felt like, I guess, part of the Fire Nation. That wasn't his focus. He wasn't an active member of the military in that sense. Yes, hunting the Avatar. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers for Avatar: The Last Airbender. But his focus and priority was on his nephew, helping him on his path. Garp's focus and priority is being a Marine. And hopefully I see that his priority is now on the next generation. Forget the past where he had said, I don't want an apprentice. We're not in that timeline. He has grown. He has chosen his successors who will carry on his will, and he needs them in the future to be the change that he couldn't be. For whatever reason, he didn't take action in the past. He now has his eyes set on the future, hopefully. It's all in the framing. Because, again, Uncle Iroh, distant from the Fire Nation, away on a ship, on a mission that never should have had an end. It was basically, you're gone, you're isolated, exiled. Garp actively in the military. They're at MarineFord, knows of O'Hara. They're at God Valley. They're when fishermen were being persecuted in the streets, killed in front of him, and actively doing nothing. Choosing to stand back because as a Marine, he couldn't interfere with the Celestial Dragons, with CP0, with anything like that. Hell, Iroh jumped into the middle of an Agni Kai. So in the end, I definitely don't dislike Garp. I love his character. I love the conversations around him. But at the end of the day, he's upholding a system that is oppressing others. And no matter what good he sees in the system, no matter what benefits he can give, no matter how many people he can help, it'll never outweigh the harm that is causing by upholding the system. Is it easy to just dismantle the system? Absolutely not, but it doesn't mean you don't try. His son tried. His grandson is doing, not intentionally, but he's going to end up bringing down the system that he holds so dear. And hopefully it can be rebuilt with individuals who follow Garp's ideals and Kobe's ideals, and the next generation will make this just better. Fingers crossed. At the end of the day, Garp is definitely a complex character, and I love him for that. I love how torn he is. I love that he is almost petrified, stagnant. No, that's not the right word. Frozen. Constrained. I feel like that's what I'm looking for. He's bound by duty, honor, and his view of justice, and then that leaves him unable to help truly everyone, unable to protect his family, unable to help those on the fringes of society that the world government is oppressing. He is constrained by his ideal of justice, his ability to help one group but not another. And it's very interesting to see a character torn in this way and to see what will be his breaking point. When will he choose a side definitively? What he will do when the war finally comes? I feel like he's just going to throw his fist around at whoever deserves it and protect anyone that he has the ability to protect. And maybe at some point it will be the ability to protect everyone, not just those that the world government says that he's allowed to protect. But that being said, we've seen him disobey orders before. Not disobey might be the wrong word. Ignore just because he doesn't care. Is like, yeah, you're saying I can't go to that island and rescue Kobe? That's cute. Guys, we're going to go rescue Kobe. Let's go. And then just pulls up and decimates the island that he was told, do not go attack. Garp is a very interesting character. Let's leave it at that. I can't go so far to say I love him. I'll say he's no longer on my hit list for what he allowed to happen at MarineFord and the pain he inflicted on Luffy indirectly. Because at his heart, I know my captain loves him, so that's okay. All right, that is all I got. I will talk to you later. Tell me how you feel about Garp. It's complicated. I get that.